Let me be the change I want to see, to do with strength and wisdom, all that needs magiliw, kalas na silangan, alalam ng puso, sa dibdib mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, duyan na ng magiliw, sa manlulupig, di ka masisi. Sa dagat at bundok, sa simoy at sa langit mamahal, may nilagang tulad, awit sa panlayang minamahal. Ang kislap ng watawat mo'y tagumpay na nagdidibig, ang bituin at araw niya kailan pa may di magdidilim. Lupa ng araw, dalawat, ating pagsinta, buhay langit sa piling mo. Aming ligaya lamang may makapit, ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
First of all, you have all signed your consent form that you would allow us to take video recording as well as photos during this event. And after this session, we will be distributing an evaluation. So please, I hope that you don't ignore our call for evaluation. So please answer the evaluation form that we will be giving. All right. So I hope that you would remember that. Okay. So for today, first, let me thank the School of Deaf Education and Applied Studies for celebrating its 30th year anniversary, as well as for planning this career seminar. So let's give them a round of applause. Secondly, we'd like to thank the people who led our opening prayer as well as our national anthem. Thank you so much. As well as you have also seen the data privacy video. So thank you for having those videos prepared for us. And also we'd like to thank our 3 alumni who are currently residing abroad for sharing their experiences with us, their hardships, their challenges, their experiences of working abroad. So let's give them a round of applause. And also, before that, we'd like to give you some of the house rules, just to explain some of the house rules. This is not, because we are strict, but we just want to make everything flow as smoothly as possible during this event. But these are just simple house rules and some reminders while we are on this Zoom call. First, we'd like to request all of you to please rename your Zoom. Do not use other characters. Do not use Chinese characters or Korean characters. Please use your real name here on Zoom. And you have also agreed to, through the consent form, for us to take photos as well as record videos during this event. So if you have not signed the consent form yet, or if you do not want to be included in the videos or photos, you may turn off your video camera. Also, we cannot allow you to take a picture and video recording for your personal use. So please remember to not record any part of this event. And we would like to ask all of you to please, if you can, turn on your video. Okay. But if you, again, if you don't want to be included in the video recording, you may opt to turn off your video. However, we are requesting all of you to please turn off your microphones. So please mute your microphones so as not to have any noise that might distract the interpreters or might distract the program. Some of you, some of our presenters will be using PowerPoint slides, or there might be instances where there would be connectivity issues. Like these lectures are all prepared so that you would all learn from them. So I hope that you have a stable Wi-Fi connection at this point. So after the lecture, we have about 4 or 5 speakers to share their experiences. And then after that, you may note down your questions first. And then we will have a part of the program where you will be able to get an opportunity to ask your questions. If you would like, if after the presentations, you have a question, so please, you see the reaction button below in the Zoom bar. So there's a reaction. So if you click on that, there's an option there that says raise hand. Okay. So you'll be using that one if you are planning to ask a question after the presentations. So if there are any clarifications or anything that you don't understand, so please feel free to send me a message. All right. Great. So moving on, the next part of our program. Thank you so much. So now, for our welcoming message, guess who? Guess who will deliver our opening message, our welcome message? Anyone? Any guesses? Or you're all ignoring me? Or you're all too shy? I can see probably some of you are not yet awake, baka hindi pa kayo gising, or maybe some of you have not taken a bath yet. So let us all welcome for the opening message and the welcome message, this SDEAS team, Dean Giselle Montero. Let's give her a round of applause. Good morning to all of you. So I will be signing at the start, but later on, I'll be shifting to speaking mode with the help of the interpreters. Just so if ever I forget anything, and just so I could get the message across. So I'll be switching modalities as I deliver the opening message. So I hope you understand that. All right.
PowerPoint, please.
So can I get PowerPoint, please?
Okay, so good morning to everyone. Um, it's a happy day today, and I have been waiting for this for a very long time to see you all again, because the last time we saw each other was 25 years ago for the 25th anniversary. But now it's different. We're in Zoom, so hopefully it's still meaningful for everyone. So this morning, this day we have 3 activities, and today we kick off with a career talk. So you say, why start with the career talk? Let's see. Next, please. If you have questions about how many graduates does SDS produce, right now from the last batch, we have 708 graduates. Okay, 95% are scholars. For 35 years, we have that number. There's 708 all in all. But now I see only 58. So hopefully later we add more people. So also we try to get in touch with them. Okay. So every year we gather information to see how our programs are doing and how you are doing. Okay. Next slide, please. Okay. So we also track if you have work. Okay. Um, as of the last research, there are 69.1% of you saying you're working or you're self-employed. That's also a huge feat and challenge that we were able to overcome. We still need to look for work and support the other 15 plus percent. Hopefully, if everybody updates us also on if you're working or not, so we can make new programs and see how we can support you. Next slide, please. Okay, this is where you're working, the areas. So, of course, those in the service industry, we understand, are greatly hit by the pandemic. So they're now on a standby and waiting for opening up of businesses and when they can go back to work again. Okay, next slide, please. Right now, we have 113 students, and 93% of these students are scholars. At least now you get an overview of the future. You were the future before, and now this group of 113 students will be the future alumni. Okay. Next slide, please. But you see the trend of enrollment and funding. This is now the real what is happening on the ground. the trend of enrollment and funding is going down for SDEAS. Why? We've been hit by two challenges. Of course, one is COVID, and secondly was the K to 12 before. During the K to 12, we had only 5 students coming in. And now we only have next year, we will only have 17 scholars coming in. From 35, we now have down to 17. This is quite troubling us. This is a big concern for us as a school, because of course we want to sustain education for as many deaf as possible. Of course, but this challenge will not stop us. Any challenge is considered also an opportunity. The same like 30 years ago, we were brave enough to confront challenges. 30 years ago, from batch 1991, 94, 203, 206, you understand what SDEAS was doing. You understand how the struggle we were in. But we did not give up, because we had always opportunity. We had angels and givers and champions who supported us. We had angels. So in the past, we will continue with the Bachelor in Applied Deaf Studies. We will be continuing with the Filipino Sign Language Learning Program, the Center for Deaf Esteem and Formation, and the newest center was the Center for Partnership and Development, which was established in around 2004 or 5. Okay. So, but as I mentioned, we do not stop with the challenges, because we want to move forward as a school. We want to grow as an organization. Not the same always, not the same. So what are these? Next slide, please. Okay. We have the Student Support Fund. Okay. What is this? Even before, we had students who had difficulty, even I think you've experienced this, difficulty studying, and then had not enough food, not enough allowance. So we are continuing this, and we are making this as a regular program. Benild as a school does not fund for this, but this comes from donations of our angels, okay? Companies, the alumni, faculty, associates, friends who contribute monthly, so that so the other students are well supported. We've really had students who are struggling today, even if they're at the houses, because their parents lost their jobs. They ask us, how can we continue? We also need load, etc. So there are many, we do not stop in helping them out. Second, I'm so pleased to inform you, with John's leadership, that we will be opening a Bachelor in Sign Language Interpreting next year. Okay. This will be the first in the Philippines. Okay. And only one in the Philippines. It's a 4-year course also. It's a bachelor's degree. But this time it will be for the hearing who wants to become sign language interpreters. So we hope you can help advocate and promote the program too. Third, we know that we need to contribute back to education of the young deaf children, the elementary and the high school children. So with the Center for Educational Access and they have new name, SEED, Center for uh, Educational Access for the Deaf. With SEED, we have an ongoing program where 15 of you, of the alumni, are undergoing a teacher certificate program with Benilde and Antipolo. Hopefully, from next year or 2 years from now, we open the second group of these teachers. When they pass the PRC, they can go back to, they can go and become regular teachers in schools. This was the dream of SDEAS long before, and now it is happening. We're starting. We also have the SDEAS Scholarship Endowment Fund, where we hope to raise $1 billion. Before COVID, it was only 25 million. But Finance said, no, you need $1 billion to be able to support at least one class of deaf students. So we're still very far off, but we're getting there. What does the endowment fund comes from donations again, comes from donations from the alumni, from faculty, from companies who's giving to us. Okay. So I hope you're excited. These are new developments because we want to transform the future, right? And then we have Deaf Grow. Deaf Grow is a program with the NTID and Dong Nai University of Vietnam on how we can develop employment for the deaf. Hopefully in the next 2 years, in 2 years from now, we are able to support deaf who are not only graduates of Benilde in Manila, but also graduates of Benilde in the provinces, and even non-graduates of Benilde who are deaf. Because we are an academic institution, and we believe that the deaf can, and the deaf must have access also to employment, not only education. With this, we will be sending out to you email, so we can help us survey where you are working or if you're not working, and if you can share this with other deaf friends. So we'll be, in 2 weeks from now, we'll be sending you email to help us find that answer. Where are the deaf? What dreams do they have? What dreams do they have? What work do they want to do? What kind of training do they need, etc. So please help us answer the questionnaire, and also please help us share the questionnaire to non-Benildean deaf people, deaf persons. So please. Okay. And then we have the FSL Body app. So the FSL Body app is on our second version. So hopefully this is our way of advocating the use of FSL in sign language. So you can download it in your phones. By April or March, this will be upgraded to a new and better version. So just to summarize, you see, just to summarize also, from school to work to the future. Next slide. Let us think about now, what do you mean when you redefine deaf professionalism and leadership? When we watch the sharing of other deaf alumni today, I hope you reflect on these questions. Number one, how was I able to serve my family, my community, and my alma mater? Meaning, after I graduated, how did I serve my family, my community, and my alma mater? Was I able to use the skills, the knowledge, the values I learned? Number two, for my future, how can I become the best Benildean me? How can I grow more, develop more as a person? How can I be better? How can I be the best person I can be? Okay. Number three, in the near future, how can I be able to serve my family, my community, and my alma mater? Plus, how can I be able to serve and give back to the future deaf Benildean, to the young Benildean deaf? So it's not like a retreat, but I hope when we are having fun, when we are listening and to the resource persons today, we think also about ourselves and the future and how we can give back. So with this, good morning to everyone, and I'm very, very proud of you, and I'm sure all the past teachers, your teachers, are also very proud of you. So good morning and see you the whole day. Thank you.
So if you have any questions to me, yeah, we could entertain that probably later. Or you could send me a chat.
All right. Hello. Thank you, Dean Giselle. Thank you so much for your message. And wow, we've had a lot of beautiful accomplishments. And we really applaud Dean Giselle for summarizing everything that SDS has accomplished so far. So we have also welcomed certain people. You have to guess who these are. So all of them are deaf Benildeans, are alumni of SDEAS. So do you know who our guest speakers are already? Do you already know? Wow, okay. So these are really accomplished SDEAS alumni from different countries, and these are the ones who have experienced so much for the past few years. They are successful in their own careers, and they're doing a lot, and they're doing really greatly amazing works. Okay, so first we have Miss Jocelyn Tamayo. She's an SDS alumna. All right, is Jocelyn here already? Let's give her the floor. Jocelyn, are you ready? Hey, hi, Jocelyn. Jocelyn speaking. Hello. Are you ready, Jocelyn? Are you excited to share your experiences with us? So we will be starting with your presentation first. Kindly share your experiences, your struggles, and share with us your secret to the success that you have in your career. Okay, and then later maybe we can have a Q&A portion if you're ready. So Jocelyn will be sharing her uh, successful experience and the impact that she made to the community. Hello. All right. So hello everyone. Let me start. Good morning to all of you. So allow me to introduce myself. Next slide, please. So my name is Jocelyn, and this is my name in sign language. I'm a graphic designer. For several years now, I've been working for 10 years at the Montessori de Manila. It's a school. So I'm a graduate of the Bachelor in Applied Deaf Studies, and my elective track was Multimedia Arts. I was in SDEAS from 2005 to 2009, and I graduated as honorable mention. I had a lot of extracurricular activities in college. I was the Penn SLI ambassador, and I was part of the 13th Deaf Festival as committee for programs and activities. I was also with the Deaf Literacy Club and involved in the Summer of Service. I also volunteered for relief operations for the kids, Mini Olympics, which was a sporting event, etc. So, in terms of my experiences in film production, I started many years ago. I think I started around 2019. I just joined competitions, and then I just accepted whatever opportunities came to me. So I've experienced writing, producing, and directing films. Now, regarding my short film entitled The Bin, it won for the Grand Jury Award in Slam Dance Film Festival way back February 25, 2021. So I didn't really expect that initially. I made a short film and they contacted me. Representatives from the film festival contacted me here in the Philippines to showcase my work. So I decided to participate to the film festival, and then luckily I won. Next slide. In terms of my skills and experiences, I have experience writing, producing, and directing some films. But I also know how to lay out, laminate, school ID, etc. But aside from that, these skills, I facilitate seminars as a leader, and then I contribute to different organizations for the church, for the alumni, and for the community. So I'm a deaf filmmaker, I'm an advocate, a leader, and a
Please
graphic
don't
designer.
ask me why I'm not talking. I just can't explain. And please don't ask me why I go walking.
In terms of what inspired me to do my project or my work, so it's just really patience, determination, hard work, and challenge. So the success of my winning short film inspired me to continue striving. In terms of what makes deaf people left out, yes, I've experienced that also. At work, sometimes I notice that people feel awkward when approaching me because I'm deaf. I understand that they're not very used to deaf people. So what do I do to help get rid of that kind of discrimination or that feeling of being left out? So what I do is try to help them with whatever it is that they're doing. More importantly, I prove that I'm capable and that I can live a normal life and I can live a life that's similar to the life that they're living. Next slide. So what I do is I challenge the hearing people in the workplace and I just really never give up. So whatever negative situation I face, the important thing is that I focus on my work and that I accomplish many things in my life. So whatever difficulties occur, what's important is what I am able to do. In terms of failures, those are learning opportunities. So I've experienced a lot of failures in the different companies that I've worked with. So those failures taught me a lot, and they're learning opportunities. How do I solve the problems I encounter? So I mentioned earlier that sometimes I do feel left out. That's correct. But what I do is I stand strong despite that feeling. And, I learned a lot from SDEAS. I learned how to be a professional in SDEAS. Um, I've also accomplished a lot because of what I've learned from SDEAS. And that's why I'm continuing and I'm just reading a lot of inspiring things so that I can continue thriving. So SDEAS really, I learned a lot and they helped me become successful. So in particular, in terms of professionalism when submitting my work on time, when I was in school, and making sure that what I did was of quality. So it taught me the right direction to success. Why do the deaf need to continue trying and striving to achieve their dreams? Um, I encourage the deaf to be successful by continuing to learn many different kinds of skills and knowledge. So if you have dreams, it's better to start working on them now rather than waiting. So just do it. Okay? Try to capture those dreams as soon as you can. My message to you, my fellow SDEAS alumni, is to never give up. So even if there are a lot of closed doors, even if there are many companies who do not hire deaf people for work, that's all right. There are other opportunities out there. I'm sure that I will be available to you. If you can't find the right job, you can always start a business. For example, a small vegetable stand, a sari-sari store, any kind of business that like a bazaar maybe. So and then while you're working on that business, you can continue applying for a job. This way we can stand for ourselves and we don't have to depend on our families. It's good rather than waiting, it's better that you do something about your situation. So I think it's just right for you not to demand for equipment from the company where you're working with. I know that I have a friend, a deaf friend, who feels rather dismayed because the company that this person is working with has never given them a laptop or any equipment for work, and they've been with the company for many years as a regular employee. And then this person wants to resign, and they're quite serious about resigning. So they've started applying for jobs in other companies, but they keep on failing. So I told them that maybe you should just save money and instead of going to parties or joining on different activities. Maybe you should save money, or maybe you should wait for the right opportunity for you to get that laptop. Maybe you can join a raffle contest. So I don't think it's right for us to demand from our bosses if it's not part of the contract, these unreasonable demands. So if, for example, you're staying in a job for 1 month, and you experience discrimination, or you're not very happy, it feels like a mismatch with your coworkers, you're not satisfied with how they're treating you. Maybe you think that it's some form of discrimination. Rather than leaving immediately, a lot of deaf immediately leave because of these negative experiences. But I think it's better to wait and see, and try to negotiate with your colleagues if it will still be better. So that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for listening.
All right. Thank you so much to Ms. Jocelyn Camayao. I think she belongs to batch 115, and and she shared about her struggles with regards to her work, her failures, her journey, basically her journey to success, and now we can see the fruits of her labor. So congratulations. And regardless of the failures that you experience, what is important is that you still um, kept your eye on the goal. So and in honor of your presentation today, we would like to present you with this certificate. So as you can see here, flash on the screen, De La Salle College of St. Benilde and SDEAS sends this certificate of appreciation to Jocelyn Tamayao for serving as a resource speaker entitled Centering the Margin, the Deaf in Focus during the 27th, or rather during the SDEAS at 30th Homecoming, 2021 SDEAS Alumni Summit, Redefining Deaf Professionalism and Leadership, held today, the 13th of November, 2021. Signed by Bronson Escalderon, the SDEAS Alumni Representative, as well as Ms. Hannah Arena, also an alumni representative, Mr. Oscar Sherlo Reyes, the Director for Center for Partnership and Development, as well as the SDEAS Dean, Ms. Giselle Montero. So, and we'd like to call on Ms. Hannah Arena to formally present the certificate.
Hooray! A round of applause for Jocelyn. Thank you, Jocelyn. You did a great job. A round of applause to you. And this is your certificate. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you again. I think Mr. Bronson has already took a photo of Jocelyn and Miss Anna Arena. So next in line, we will have any idea what's next in our program. So we'll give you roughly about 30 minutes for an activity, and then we'll also give you a game. So would you like to join our games? If yes, send a yes to in our chat box, or probably send me an emoji, a heart emoji. Okay, so to answer, either you chat your answer, or you could turn on your video so that we could see you sign your answers. I think the first batch that we have would be the EEED. Okay, that's a first program. Who is the dean of our first batch of students under the EEED program? So we are seeing some answers on the chat box. Dr. Lisa Martinez, Miss Jeannie. Any more answers? Any more guesses? You don't know, okay? So our alumni doesn't know. Well, unfortunately, I don't know either. So anyway, oh, Dean Giselle. Dean Giselle is the first dean of our program. Of course not. Dean Giselle is our current dean. So the question is, who is the first dean of the program? So you might be surprised who that is. So that's the first question. The second question would be, so in the College of St. Benilde, who is the first one to get the licensure? Who is the first deaf person who passed the licensure examination? Okay. Some of you are answering Isabel Kabab. Some of you are answering Aricel Lobo. No, not me. Definitely not me. Nathaniel, no. Okay, so we're taking note of your answers. Okay, the third question. I forgot. I completely forgot what the third question is. But anyway, for our final game, so we'd like to ask anyone to have a poetry from using the numbers 0 to 10. So so we'll be doing some FSL poetry, again, using numbers 0 to 10. And the theme should be related to career. So do we have any volunteer? Or you all chose to ignore me? You can? I thought you're all skilled, because SDEAS already taught you that, right? You've been part of the different programs, silent steps, and all those, artistic programs that we have. So let's see. Anyone would like to do an FSL poetry? No one? Okay, so it seems like there's no one here who would like to do the poetry. Anyway, we should probably proceed then. Or probably we could ask Rafa. Rafa Domingo, would you like to do a poetry? No. Or anyone else? Seems like everyone's volunteering Rafa. Okay, so let me give you an example, okay? So who do you want to, Rafa or me? Who would you like to do the FSL poetry? Okay, so we're respecting the decision of everyone. So it seems like it's a unanimous vote that Rafa should do it. But Rafa, unfortunately, doesn't want to. Oh. Here it goes. Okay, so was it clear? Was it good or no? Are you satisfied? Were you bored? Okay, I get it. I get it. All right. So thank you. Thanks, Ray. Thank you for that expression of support. Isabel, thank you so much as well. All right. Good. Okay, so that's it for our short break, short activity. So next in our program would be we have to. So we'd like to call on two of our colleagues, Marie Chris Gala as well as Jam, to introduce our next speaker.
All right. Right. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you, Nath. Thank you for the fun game. So at this point, let's introduce the next speaker. You were asked to express yourselves through an FSL poem. That's quite great. So at this point, we will be having our panel discussion. What's our topic, Jam? So the topic is how the employers, how graduates have succeeded in their own careers, and the challenges that they've faced and how they've succeeded in their respective fields, and
Mhm.
they will also be sharing with us their experiences.
Yes, and we have three panelists for this morning. So let's introduce them one by one. So first, let's have Mr. Inigo Asilo.
Hooray!
Second, we have Miss Isabel Kabab.
Hi, hello.
And then last, we have Mr. Bennett Cabanilla.
Hooray, welcome. Wow, you all look quite fabulous. So I would like to know, how are these three panelists feeling right now?
We're doing great, wonderful, 100%. So
Yes,
happy
I'm
to see all
doing
of you
great.
today.
We have a beautiful topic today. This morning, you will be sharing about your own experiences. And we would like to know how you dealt with those challenges and how you opened up access in the workplace. First, I'd like to give the floor to Inigo. Can you give us a short introduction, please? Let the audience know who you are briefly.
Right. So my name is Inigo. This is my name sign.
Right. So you've been working and you will be presenting your PowerPoint presentation later. You have a lecture. You have a presentation later. Can
Yes.
can we show that now? While we're waiting for that, okay, please share Inigo's PowerPoint presentation. Share screen. Right. Okay, there you go. Okay, sorry for the delay. Now we have his presentation on our screen. All right. So Inigo, are you ready to share? Are you ready to start your sharing?
Yes. Well, this is about my business. This is the sign for that. Azul's Food Services. YA. Again, as you can see, the initial of the name, and in English it translates into blue. Well, as you can see, because of my eyes, so Azul. food services. So this one, just you have different fast food chains like Jollibee, McDonald's, all those businesses, which has been put up, by large companies, and you have subsidiary companies who are working under them. So basically, that's the nature of my business. This is my father's business back in 2016 up until present. Uh, I was an assistant finance manager in my dad's business, which is ALC Power Builder and Supply. And then the second one was when I had a branch as a branch manager for a 7-Eleven franchise in 2017 up until present. So I was the general manager as well as a franchise owner in Bawan.
Wow.
So I graduated, I was in CSB from 2012 up until 2016. And my course is just like everyone else here, Bachelor in Applied Deaf Studies with track in business entrepreneurship. And I'm in batch ID 112.
Nice.
I also participated in regional Special Olympics. So as you can see, these are some of my achievements in swimming. In 2012, I received a gold medal in math competition. And so that's in Antipolo Rizal. And also in swimming, I also received several medals, gold, silver, and bronze in these different competitions. So this is my hometown in Batangas City Grand Terminal. So if you have ever traveled here, we get a lot of tourists, a lot of visitors, students, those who will live in the area. And also we have another one in Bawan municipality. So during festivals, we actually are situated near the municipal hall, okay, the mayor's office in Bawan. So that's
Wow.
where we put up our business. So how did I learn about this business? Well, just to let everyone know, I was the first deaf franchisee of 7-Eleven. So it was actually during my time in Boracay, I was with my uncle, and that's when I started learning, trying to help in the cashier of my uncle's business. I was not the head back then. I was observing my uncle and see how the operations proceed. My uncle's business was mini stop back then, but so when I applied for a franchise, I was with my uncle. He was serving as my support, sort of my advisor, and we went together. And I was really very enthusiastic to go through those interviews. So we met up with the heads of the 7-Eleven franchise, and so this is the sign for franchisee. Okay. So I was with my uncle, and he was doing all the negotiations with the head of the corporation, 7-Eleven. And 7-Eleven, it was the first encounter with a deaf person who's applying for a franchise. And so luckily we passed the interview. And so they gave an opportunity for me as a deaf person to open my own, 7-Eleven franchise. And the first branch that we opened was in Bawan, Batangas. So that's in the near the terminal. And then the second one was in the municipal, near the municipal hall. So the first branch was a gift to me by my father for graduating, and then um, the second branch was my from my personal investment. So as a kid, I have started saving up money, and once I got enough of fund, okay, I used that to invest in opening the second branch, which is in the Grand Terminal in Batangas. So how did I learn? I mean, I was not ready yet to be a manager back then. But when I passed the interview, of course, I have to undergo some trainings to learn, how to do this. I was like, definitely, it was a nosebleed for me. For sure, it was a very technical. But we're successful enough to put up the store, and then the pandemic happened. But still, you know, customers still went. We still had clients, and even though there was a pandemic, I didn't give up. So as you can see here,
Hooray, applause.
and we have my ex classmates, some of my friends, who also supported me. Just a bit of background about myself: I was born October 21st, 1995. I'm in Manila, Philippines. I'm proficient in the use of Microsoft Word, different applications, Microsoft, like PowerPoint, Excel, um, media player, Windows Media Video. And I'm also succeeded in sports, like in swimming. And it's also important to have to be trustworthy, to be a trustworthy individual, and
Yes,
to have a
hooray.
strong motivation to succeed.
Amazing. So thank you, Inigo, for sharing your accomplishments. You did quite well. That's quite neat. So at this point, let's move on to our next sharer, Isabel. All right, it's my turn now. Okay, so can we share my PowerPoint presentation, please? Isabel speaking.
It's the PowerPoint, please. It's from Chan. So let's wait for a little bit for the PowerPoint to upload.
All right, do we have the PowerPoint presentation now? John signing Isabel's PowerPoint presentation, please. Yeah, we're quite eager to for her to start her presentation. Okay, so I hope
Yes,
everyone is still doing okay.
I probably there are a lot of PowerPoints on in our tech groups. So
All right, so whatever, even if I don't have the presentation on the screen yet, maybe I can start. Okay, Isabel, you can definitely start now because your presentation is on the screen already. All right, hello. Hi, my name is Isabel. So thank you for inviting me, CSB, and I'm happy to meet all of you for this Deaf Career Talk. Right. So in terms of my experiences, I have 2.5 years of experience teaching. So it's almost 3 years now, actually. Uh, I graduated in 2003, Bachelor in Applied Deaf Studies at CSB also. So maybe my batchmates are here. Just like you, it's Bachelor in Applied Studies that I took up, but my focus was computer graphics, arts, and technology. So I also took some units for education at the University of the Philippines in Diliman. You're probably familiar with UP. It's quite a popular school, quite an accomplished school. Next. So in the past, I was the chairperson for the Deaf Festival, 18th Deaf Festival. Also, I was a news journalist. I was writing stories about SDEAS for the Benildean Press Corps. So in terms of my work experience, I also experienced working as a graphic artist. And then in 2018, I got my license as a professional teacher. So I've been a private school teacher for 2 years now. And for 2 years, I've had experience teaching in a private school for 2 years. But right now, I'm teaching as a SPED teacher in a public school.
Wow.
Okay, amazing. Thank you for the short yet sweet presentation, Isabel. Thank you, Jam. All right. So our last presenter is Bennett. Is he ready? Bennett, are you ready to
Right, I'm
share?
ready.
Okay, you're looking quite great. So please share Bennett's PowerPoint on screen right now because we're ready to listen to him and quite eager to listen to him.
Okay, so let's wait for the PowerPoint to be shown first.
All right. While we're waiting for that to show up, all right, there you have it. Let's start with Bennett's presentation now. We turn the floor over to you, Bennett.
Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. To everyone watching today. Again, my name is Ben. This is my name sign. I am an alumni of CSB. And right now, I would like to thank SDEAS for inviting me here so I could share, my learnings with regards to the career that I am involved in now. So I have been working for the past 6 years. So November 16 will be my 6th year of working. So almost 6 years. So next, I've been working with the Blue Thumb company. So I part of I took up Bachelor in Applied Deaf Studies from 2011 up until 2015. So I graduated in 2015 with a course again in Deaf Studies, majoring in Computer Graphic Arts and Technology or CJT. So right now I part of batch 111. Next slide, please. Now, during college, these are some of my key achievements. First, I have experience volunteering with SROP, with LMPD. I'm sure you all know what these programs are, with PDA. Also involved with Deaf Festival and different extracurricular activities. So I got involved as chairperson, as a committee member, as president. So I have a lot of involvements during my college years. I also joined the summer of service twice, one with a hearing group. We taught in the provinces. So we taught deaf kids as well as we taught hearing kids some basic science and also some of the basic subjects. And I also received an honors convocation, and my parents were really proud of that achievement. So I'm a Dean's Lister for several terms.
Wow, congrats.
So right now I'm working with a company called Blue Thumb. This is the sign for that, BT. So that's easy to remember. And I'm working there as a graphic designer. And of course, I'm in charge of creating with different designs using different, applications, Photoshop, trying to make editing, making sure everything is aligned. So basically everything like logo designing, making sure we use the proper fonts, the measurements. So everything needs to look professional. Also as a 3D visualizer, and this is definitely a challenge, but I had to do a lot of practice, try to see, designs from different perspectives. So even if it's challenging, I still accepted it and learned so much from that. So it's not only about making things in 3 dimensional like tables or cabinets. But it's more like really making sure you get into the details, like the exact measurements of objects. Just like an architect. I'm also involved in motion graphics. So that means, like, for example, like moving text or using flash animation in your designs. So how do you make sure that flat surfaces would look better? So all this tasks were really challenging at first, but everything could be learned if only you be focused and not giving up. So even if it's nose bleeding at times, but what is important is you build on your knowledge and that you take everything to heart. So, and I have a hearing mentor, and also with Miss Hannah, who also serves as mentor. Um, so Miss Hannah's been with Two Thumb for a very long time, and she showed me, the tricks of making it up the ladder in that company. So these are some samples of my designs. So it's not only what you see in the photos here, but also what is inside of those items. So as you can see here, cabinet. So like the placement of that cabinet inside the room, and also an animation where you could see the hands moving, right? So the hand removing the lid of the box. However, I have to mention that this is a team effort. So this is a collaborative effort. It's not just my own work. But I definitely contributed in making all this output. And then after that, so after our team finalized these designs, so we send it to the client, and that's how that's how the process is in our company.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Ben, for sharing. So we will be having some questions for you later. But for Inigo, would anyone like to ask some questions for Inigo specifically? So you established several businesses, right, Inigo?
Yes, I have two. Yeah.
That's two.
Well, in the future, I intend to add more.
Amazing. Wow. So it's in your place in Baon, right? It's your
Yes,
hometown.
the first one. Yeah.
It's in Batangas, right?
The second one was a bit far from the first branch. So if ever you're going on a vacation, or you're on traveling, so please come visit me.
Wow.
Yes, of
Wow,
course. You
that's
you
quite
you could
cool.
have free stuff if you visit me in my store. You're
You
more than
said that,
welcome.
huh? Okay. I will go, we're going to meet you there. So maybe a lot of alumni from CSB will flock your place. Are you ready for
Yes, it
that?
would definitely be a full house there. Well, my uncle has one at the airport. However, you know, uh, in Naiya, but it's really difficult to find a place there.
But the place is really your own, or is it your uncle's?
Well, as I mentioned, we have a business, right? The Azure business, the Azure Food Services. So, well, in terms of the registration that we have in the receipt that we have, so just like a franchise, so we have like the mother company.
Okay, I get it now.
So, how Jollibee works, like, someone owns Jollibee, but I'm just buying license to get a franchise of that Jollibee. So, if, for example, something goes wrong with one of the franchisees, then it's the main company, the mother company, who would be put on the spot. So we have to be
I get
really
it now.
accountable for our own franchise, our own branch.
Thanks for explaining. How does it feel to like manage a business while doing other things at the same time?
Yeah, I hired two assistant managers, and definitely trust is a big factor. So if there are any problems, then they have to report it to me. Or sometimes, if I could not go to the store physically again because of the COVID, then I have a CCTV, so it's connected to my phone, so I could monitor what's going on in the stores.
So are your employees deaf also, or
Yep, I have one deaf employee. Before, we did some basic trainings for them to manage the cashier, and once they improve on that skills, then hopefully we could give them an opportunity to be involved in the delivery and all other operations unit.
wow,
So hopefully something like my experience in Boracay.
that's good. Right, next question. So I'm curious about the challenges of managing a business and communicating with your clients. Do you experience certain problems in communicating with them?
But sometimes I like an interpreter or using pen and paper. But I have my assistant supervisor who provides support. So we work as a team. So if, for example, you have someone in your team whom you doesn't trust, then that would be a challenge. But of course, whoever you want to be part of your team you should have trust in them. You work like a family. You treat everyone like a
That's
family.
right. I'm also curious. How do you do your meetings? Do you get an interpreter for your meetings, or do your employees know sign language?
Sometimes, like some personnel from 7-Eleven, they know finger spelling. They know some basic alphabet, but usually we use a lot of writing to communicate with each other. So, for example, as a franchisee, I have to attend a meeting. Then, there's an incident. But they would probably sometimes I don't get involved in that, and they just inform me of the updates once the meeting is over. So I don't really involve myself in those meetings, like administrative meetings. But I think when we have a general meeting for all the franchise owners, then that's the time that I attend a meeting. However, I tend to focus more on managing my stores. So well, it depends on the level of the meeting. So if it's just the heads of the 7-Eleven company, then I don't attend. But if it's franchisees, then that's something I need to attend.
So, are you also responsible for managing the finances? Do you do accounting also? Is that responsibility?
No. 7-Eleven is responsible in doing that. So what I do is submit to them a report. So as a franchisee, it's sort of like a service provider. So that's what I do, like a food production. So I order, consignments. And I get profit from whatever we sell in the shop. So it's 7-Eleven who's actually in charge of doing the auditing, doing all the accounting stuff. And so, once we submit to them the report, then that's the time that they forward to us whatever profits made. Um, so because again, it might be frustrating at times, if I try to micromanage all those, part of the operation. So yeah, definitely have to make sure that I'm monitoring the shop, but at the same time making sure of the finances.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing, Inigo.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Thank you.
So let's have Jam signing. So thank you for your answers, Inigo. Let's have Isabel. So let's have her share about her experiences about being a teacher, a licensed teacher at that. She shared with that. She shared with us that experience earlier. So, okay.
How This is Jem signing. How did you get involved? Like, how did you first experience when you first got your license?
Because we had always
So, what
opportunity.
was the
We had
process like? And the deaf would like to know, like, probably follow in your footsteps.
Yes, that's right.
whether you teach in private or public school or in elementary or high school. Could you share with us your experience?
So I also actually really want to share with you the process for licensure examination for teachers. I did have to study extra units for education before I took the test. So the units is for general education involving math, English, and other subjects. And then it's for secondary education, high school education for let or licensure exam for teachers. So there's an area for general education and an area that's for a certain specialization in a certain subject. So I had to finish my education units first, and I had to apply for those before I needed to accomplish those units first because we did not have that for Bachelor in Applied Deaf Studies. So I took those at UP Diliman. And then afterwards, I knew that I wanted to teach elementary. But it wasn't clear to me what to do, what the process was. So I asked a hearing colleague. Um, we were teaching high school then, and then that hearing colleague explained to me uh, that if your major is psychology, for example, then you have to teach high school. There's that technicality. So it depends on what your course is in college. Since I took Bachelor in Applied Deaf Studies, that's more suited to high school, apparently. So that's why I applied for secondary education units. And then I was thinking if I should review for the exam. So I studied a lot for that.
Wow, you must be really smart.
So I really had to work hard. I had to train myself and to expand my knowledge. I really wanted to learn a lot. So I attended a lot of trainings on my own and I tried not to give up. So I'm really grateful also. My review process took 3 months. I studied straight for 3 months before I took the let. So the 3 months, I didn't know if that was enough time for me to master everything. I was struggling also. I was anxious, but I realized that I should leave all of those negative feelings behind. And I talked to a lot of hearing colleagues. I asked them certain tips on how they pass the let. And then, so after my review period, I was quite nervous at first, but I thought I should just do it. I should believe in myself. Whatever the result may be, if I pass or fail, I should accept the result. And I think we should believe in ourselves as deaf people, right? So we have had a lot of struggles and we have something to prove. We're capable. So it's just the let after all. So I took the test and I'm glad because I was able to cover a lot of the parts covered in the exam. I was able to review those. So a lot of concepts in teaching elementary students, high school students, which I was quite keen on these topics also. So I didn't know what the results would be. I had to take it 2 times actually. After the second time, I passed the exam. So I saw my name in the results. But at first, during the first try, I didn't see my name. So that means I failed, right? And then somebody told me, hey, I actually saw your name. And you actually passed. You check again. So it was a relief, actually.
Wow, you're giving me goosebumps.
Yeah. So everything paid off, and I'm quite happy. My family is also happy and proud of me. So I'm grateful for them. I think it's important that we stay grateful to God and whatever happens, in whatever situation we're in right now, we just keep on striving until we
Yeah.
achieve our dream. In God's time, everything will be given to us.
So be optimistic, definitely. Wow. Thank you so much for answering that,
It's a
Isabel.
beautiful story. So another question for you, Jam Signing. You are an accomplished teacher. You have your own license now. You're a licensed teacher. In terms of your materials for your students, whether they are in elementary, high school, or college. As a teacher, what do you think should be done to help students succeed in whatever level they are at? So it's important that you understand the students' context, their culture, what they know as kids, as children, what their past is, what their context is, and then you match your strategies based on who your students are. That's how you can help them succeed. So they bring their stories with them from the past. So your teaching strategy should help them direct that so that they can succeed. So I'm really happy teaching actually, and I feel happy when I see my students succeed. I'm passionate about children, teaching children. So it's important that you study hard also as a teacher and that you sign well. If there are things that you don't know, and if you just you're just satisfied with whatever it is that you don't know, you just remain stagnant, you don't try to level up, your students won't learn much. So the goal is to continue learnings in the province here in the Philippines. Many deaf students want to become doctors in the future, want to succeed in the future. So you have to help them achieve those. You have to give them the necessary skills for that.
That's right. Definitely true. It's very important for you to be a role model for your younger deaf students and you encourage them in achieving their goals, right? So we have one last question for you. So this is the first time you became a teacher, right?
Yes, it's my first time.
So when you started teaching, what were some of the challenges or difficulties that you encountered, teaching the younger deaf students and also, I mean, pre-pandemic and also during the pandemic, what have been the challenges you noticed trying to, before you were teaching in a private school and now you are teaching in a public school in TSD. So what were the challenges that you encountered?
All right. Okay. So that's right. Uh, in life is difficult. We know that it's very difficult. Nothing is simple in this world. So especially in terms of my experiences in the past, pre-pandemic, I was a new teacher back then, so I was very idealistic. I was very excited to teach young children. But when I came to inside the classroom to teach the children, I realized that there are so many struggles, especially, for example, um, I felt good when they learned something, but I also felt challenged when they feel stuck and they couldn't learn what I was trying to teach them. So I just continued um, trying to see what would work. Some of the students don't want to study at all, don't have motivation. So you have to be patient when it comes to dealing with those kinds of students. You have to meet them at their level and you have to try different ways to match with the level that they are at. So I had to learn ways to improve my lessons. I had to create good assessments so that I could make something that's perfect for them. And now it's the pandemic, it's twice as hard as my experience pre-pandemic. But there are a lot of students who are very smart and who are capable, and some are growing up within strong deaf communities, and some are within hearing families. So they have different backgrounds. And I think that kind of challenge is extra difficult during the pandemic. Life is always difficult. And I guess what we do is to just roll up our sleeves and face the challenge, whatever is given to us, no? So we just carry on. And the teachers are like that. And many of my colleagues don't even have their license yet, but they strive, they continue, and they work as hard as I do.
Definitely, definitely. They see you as a teacher. You've had a lot of hardships. Like, how do you deal with these children and making sure that they comprehend and they grow up really well? So, and now we see you, a successful teacher, and hopefully we could have more deaf teachers just like yourselves.
Come and teach. Members of the deaf community should be teachers also.
So yeah, later we'll entertain some questions from our audience. So next we'll proceed to Bennett.
All right. Marity signing, I have some questions for you. Earlier, you shared with us your experiences as designer. So I'm curious, how independent are you in terms of designing your work?
Well, really, at the time when I started working independently, I had to do a lot of researching on my own. Like of course, I was working with my supervisor, and the supervisor gave me some responsibilities. So I need to see some samples, like some page, see some prototypes, and see, my output to my supervisor, and the team would give feedback and explain to me, what needs to be improved, what needs to be done. Again, because I was a new employee back then, um, they have not yet learned some science, so we have to communicate using pen and paper again through writing. And they explained to me the importance of not coming up with the same concepts every time. So, my hearing colleagues gave me a lot of tips. Really, some are very technical tips. Um, so it was really eye-opening for me, made a huge impact on myself. And I started realizing a lot of things because of the process that I have to go through. So it's not just about, copying what's already done there, templates. However, it's about making sure that all our works, all our designs are um, being used together. So again, this is a collaborative process. So we have to make sure that we come up with one cohesive design, even though our ideas would be very different from each other.
Wow, amazing. So it's good that you're able to work independently, but at the same time collaborate with your teammates. Okay, next question. So you use writing to communicate with your teammates. You've been working with them for a long time now. Have you taught them any sign language?
When I started working, I had to communicate with them using by writing. Miss Anna back then, Miss Anna Arena, who has been with the company for a very long time. Um, think she was the first one who started teaching some of the hearing staff there some signs. I think they're doing thrice thrice weekly sessions where she teaches basic signs for them, and the hearing colleagues would learn basic. They would start communicating with me using sign language. Again, uh, we are they are taught signs that we commonly use in line with our work, like Photoshop or logo or Zoom. All those technical jargons that we are using. So with signs that are focused on designing, on graphic designing, like timeout, or you need to, this is a rush job order. So for example, they know how, like, they would sign to me, please email me. So I would understand that because that's a daily use conversation, or something needs to be changed. So those kinds of signs that we commonly use in our office, not really like very technical words, because again, they are not yet very skilled. They're not very confident signers yet. So and not really full sentences. Sometimes I have to adjust my way of signing to them because they don't know everything. They don't know. They don't have a huge vocabulary yet. So I have to make sure I have to adapt to their level of comprehension in terms of the signs. So even if I want to say things that are very technical, however, I have to make sure that they would be able to understand me. Like, what words have been taught them, basic words. So the same way that they are also teaching me English words. So I'm learning a lot of technical words through my hearing colleagues.
Wow. So it seems like through your interactions with your teammates, they're improving their science as well. So how about your supervisor at work? How do you communicate with the supervisor?
Yes, my supervisor would always say, we'd always communicate even the basic ones like good morning, very respectful interaction with my supervisor. So well, my supervisor always tries to copy whatever signs I would be using to greet him or her. So back then when I was still a contractual, like it's really difficult, trying to adjust to the communication style, trying to learn, the things that I had to do there. However, after 6 months, when
Can you spell that out so that the interpreter can capture
so
it?
it's PON ethical. So that means that I really have to catch up with all of the concepts that they are
Wow, congrats.
using. So that means that I feel at first I was failing my supervisor. However, my supervisor always encourages me, you know, um, giving me some positivity, and that sort of relieves me, and help me get back on my feet again.
Wow. One last question. So you've had a lot of positive experiences at work. How about some challenges? What are some problems perhaps that you've experienced, some difficulties that you've experienced at work?
Right. There are a lot of positive experiences, but also we have some challenges. First, in terms of the design, like the actual work itself, like the 3D designing. I mean, it's a huge business. Sometimes last minute requests, I have to do some edits, some last minute changes, like close to the deadline. It was really very stressful. So I had to do a lot of overtime. It's sort of like an architect work. So let's say, for example, we're designing a kitchen or we're designing drawers, we're designing all those fixtures inside the homes. It's really tiring, very tiring. I almost gave up. However, I'm working together with my colleague. So it's sort of my colleague was my, cheering me on to just continue even at late at night. So we're still working until finally we're able to get the job done. And so, we had discussions with my supervisors. There were mistakes that we have to redo. But, luckily there are very few. So sometimes I would miss out on certain instructions that was given to me. And of course, that would be very frustrating because you exerted so much effort working on this particular design and then something is wrong, and then sometimes you get all the negative comments, the negative feedback. Have to show the client again, have to work with the team, have to get feedback from them, have to review everything, and then once everything is ready and presented to the client, we're just crossing our fingers that it gets approved. And of course that would be a huge moment for us. So finally we're able to meet the client's demands. So, designing posters, designing all those business cards, it's really difficult and challenging to work with animations, like 3D animations, like cartoons, like sort of a 5-minute clip of animation. However, we have a hearing colleague who's doing the illustration, and then once it's he passed it to me to add the layering for the animation. Again, I don't know anything about this thing, about this technology, so I have to watch on YouTube. I have to do my self study. I have to do my own researching, in order for me to complete the task that was given to me. And so, after I showed my output to my colleague, he said, you need to make it more flawless. You need to make the movement more cohesive. You make, uh, try to make the movements more smooth. So I have to redo everything again. Working, the 5-minute clip really takes us a long time, a very long time to complete, almost 2 months. So we have to exert that much
Wow.
work just to come up with just 5-minute
2 months.
video.
Intense.
So really, and because this is for a big client, a big company, So we have to meet the standards that they set, their demands. So once we get there, of course, we have to make certain changes and adjustments, making sure, where are the points, the pegs for the movements, where do we align the movements for the animation. So all those, tiny details, you have to be really very particular about that. Okay. Again, the movements, the dimensions. So all those,
Oh, that's
everything, every
hard work.
single movement.
No
And then
sleep.
after that, after 2 months, again, presenting it to the client and it gets approved. So that's a huge sigh of relief for us. So, well, we have, when working with animation, you first have to do with the storyboarding, and then we have to do we also did something for
Editing.
Minute Burger, right? So after that, we had to change the logo for that company, and then again, that's within 2 months, okay? 2 months of deadline. And then after a month and a half, so we came up with some initial designs. And then, of course, there will be some mistakes that we have to redo again. And of course, you learn from the mistakes that you commit. So next time you do it again, you have to be very careful. You need to follow instructions to the point. So even if there are technical words, really, words that you couldn't understand, you ask your colleague for help. So you have a better idea of how to proceed with your task. And then once it gets approved by the client, yeah, so that would be really a lot of challenges. Basically,
Yes.
you need to come up with a lot of concepts. You could not come up with the same design. Recycling ideas.
Should be
You
original.
should always come up with something new.
Your own concept.
Yeah, you need to be original in terms of design, and basically, that's the goal
I
of
see.
every
Wow.
output.
You shared with us a lot of your experiences, but I still have another question, one last question. Haha. Okay. So you mentioned about 5 hours and the 2 months work deadline and working on different animations for only a few hours, the animation work. Okay.
Yeah, working at like full length animation could take you about 2 years or 3 years. I'm not really sure,
Wow.
but you have to be
That's a
really
long
skilled.
time. Okay, I understand. 2 years. Wow.
Like some of my supervisors would explain to me, how long does an animation movie take to finish? And the assumption is about 6 months if you're really skilled. But really, in reality, it takes more than one year, about 2 to 4 years, in order to come up with a full length animation. And I was really shocked to find that out. So that's yeah, I think that's how related to their question.
All right. Thank you so much for sharing, Ben. That's an amazing experience that you have there. So thank you so much for our three panelists. So at this point, we would give our audience a chance. I know they're eager to ask their questions to our panelists, our franchise owner, our teacher, and our graphic designer. Uh, Audience, you may open your video cameras to ask your questions. You may press the raise hand button first if you have questions, and then we will call on you. Um, but just make sure that your questions are, of course, related to the topics and to what each panelist has shared. So, maybe you'd like to learn more about their work process, how they establish themselves in their own careers. So you may raise your hand first and then open your video camera. We have Rafa with us. Hi,
Yes,
Rafa.
thank you. Good morning. First, I'd like to congratulate all of you, all of our panelists, for sharing your experiences with us, and everyone that's really successful in your chosen field. So hopefully, you definitely
Yes,
learn
that's
a
correct.
lot from you. You serve as role models for the deaf community. So congratulations. My question is for Inigo. This is your sign name, right? Okay, so this is your sign name.
Yes,
Sorry,
that's
sorry
correct.
about that. My bad. So you mentioned a while ago that you have different 7-Eleven branches. I'm just curious, do you also employ deaf staff? Like, how many deaf staff do you have?
Just one. Right now, just have one. I have yet to have a full deaf team because I've hired several deaf staff before, but some of them resigned. So in terms of my employees, those that I have never resigned. So meaning they're committed to their work and they really love their work. They feel like it's a family that we have there. So I just added one new deaf hire to my team. So in my other franchise, I have hearing um, employees, but the security guard working there is doing quite well and has been working there for a long time already. So that's for my franchise. So I have somebody from Bukidnon. Uh, and so somebody and then there's a cleaner there, um, the cashier, and they're all doing quite well with the jobs that they have. So in terms of at night shift, people in the night shift, for example, in terms of what they're doing, I put that in the report. There are certain things that can't be done by the deaf. For example, answering phone calls or reporting situations via phone call.
Rafa signing, I think you're freezing a little bit. Yeah, I think it's my connection. Sorry about that. But I'm hoping that in the future you could hire and provide more opportunities for
Yes,
deaf.
in the future, perhaps, maybe in the future. That's my goal, actually. Um, so I'm hoping that to have a franchise for Jollibee. So I'm raising the funds for that. Fingers crossed. I hope I can get the money to open my own franchise for Jollibee. So sana manalo tayo sa lotto. Let's see.
Champ
All right,
signing.
great. That's great.
Next, we have a question from Sansan.
Okay, her screen is freezing. Okay, maybe we can go back to her later. Let's wait for her to have a better connection, or
And
maybe
it's
you
signing
can just
probably
type. Yes, just probably
just
type
type.
your question in the chat box. All right, that's good. So from Sansan, you can type your question in the chat box in case turning on your video is not possible. So just we'll read your question later, Sansan. For now, is there anyone else who would like to raise their hand, ask a question to our panelists? Anyone else? Do you have anything that you're thinking of? Any insights? While we're waiting, perhaps you have additional questions to our
Now,
panelists.
I'm signing. I'm good for now.
Okay, that's good. So for our panelists, Inigo, Isabel, Ben, hold on 1 second. Okay. There's a question from Sansan. I think it's for Inigo. To Inigo about your franchise. How do you pay your taxes? Is it separate or combined?
Again, it would be 7-Eleven who's in charge of doing all those finance reports, like annual tax we have to pay, of course. So, so whatever's left from the earnings that we have from the shop, then it's returned to us after all the deductions.
There's a follow-up question. So is it like cumulative for your franchises? Is the tax paid
Yeah,
altogether?
I think Sansan frame is a bit freezing. What I got from Sansan is that uh, so you have to franchise, right, for 7-Eleven. So you pay separate taxes for each, or are they like you combine them? Inigo signing? Yeah, in my experience, um, of course you have to pay it because they belong to different municipalities, so you have to pay the mayor's office separately. The system is that wherever your franchise is located, so you have to pay in that particular municipality. So luckily, in one of the franchise, the mayor there is very kind. So they're not really very strict about the tax. So we get some form of discount. However, the other franchise, the municipality there is kind of strict in terms of the taxes. So again, we have to pay them separately. Um, and of course, I have to study a little bit about businesses established by persons with disability, but it doesn't say anything about that. Um, so like even if I have to defend on getting exemptions for taxes, however, we have to you know find a legal basis for that. So in Bawan, the Grand Terminal branch, like the mayor there is very strict, so we could not get any discount. But in the other branch, the mayor is very kind, so we get some form of discounts for the tax.
All right, thank you for answering, Inigo. Jam signing. Do we have other questions? I think there's another question from a participant. Is there any more question? Okay, so you can turn on your camera, Lauren Joy. Okay, so I have a question for Isabel, and I know Bennett already, but so I'd like to ask the question to Isabel. So you are teaching young kids. Um, you may have mixed students of deaf and hearing students. So how do you teach them? Do you teach them in sign language?
Yes, they of course they have freedom to use whatever signs they want to use. But again, it all boils down to your commitment, your heart for service. I mean, if you're, teaching deaf students, are you using Filipino Sign Language or are you using other forms of sign languages like ASL? I think what is important at this point would be the heart, okay, and then the language to follow later.
I see. Thank you. All right. Thank you for your question. We have another question. Let's read their name. Richmond. Yes, we have Richmond now with us. Richmond, can you please turn on your camera? Hello, good morning. So, good morning. I'm from batch 116 of SDEAS. So, I'm curious. Congratulations to everyone, by the way. So, you're quite accomplished with your own careers, but I have a question for the teacher, Miss Isabel. So sometimes a lot of my deaf colleagues usually ask me for help when they're having difficulties at school. So they ask me to help them. So I'm quite patient to help them, especially in terms of deep concepts learned. So I am quite patient to provide them assistance. So I'd like to ask about requirements for the
Well, in PSD, you mean?
PSD.
Okay. Like if you really try to fight and really struggle with the requirements, like in my experience growing up, I think everyone is free to decide on their own. What is important is that you're able to stand on your own, um, be able to stand on your own feet, have your own principles. Not really require or demand, but what is important again would be yes, there would be struggles. You have to fight with the system, but what's important is that you
I
learn to stand on
understand.
your own. Did I answer your question?
Um, Thank you. That's good. The person working, Sir Inigo, I have a question for you. Hello po. So about having a deaf employee, do you ever struggle with the accounting concerns involved in your business? Yes. How about the discounts or other concerns you have experience with that?
Well, I think we have technology now that helps us with the finances, right? So what I normally do is like you find easier ways, efficient ways. So let's say, for example, you have codes, or if there are no codes, just write down the prices, and I think we make it easy. We have an accountant who's responsible in doing the finances, so we have another person to do that, and hopefully, once we have as a franchisee, we could probably have deaf uh, accountants, so who could do well, if I win the lottery again, we'll buy another franchise, and hopefully,
Wow,
yeah, we'll set up another
that's
business.
right. So about discounts and promos,
Well,
eh,
it depends. Depends. I think investment is very important. So you really need to save up on your investment.
next I have a question for Sir Ben. For Ben, so when it comes to design work, there's a lot of jargon involved, words that we may not be able to understand. So what if the boss tells you to make adjustments with your work and uses technical terms or jargon? How do you cope?
You mean with hearing colleagues? Yeah, I would just tell them probably, in a simple sentence, give me instructions, or if it's too deep, if it's too technical, I would try to study on it myself. Or for example, the hearing person would probably give me a word, and then I have to explain to them what's the sign equivalent for that word. Or if there's no sign, or if I'm not sure about that, then I have to understand first what is the basic definition of that. So probably come up with use finger spelling in order to communicate that particular concept. So that's one of the strategies. I mean, not everyone could sign like advanced level, so we have to make sure everything's done
I
step by
see.
step.
I see. Thank you.
So you
One
need to make
signing.
sure
Thank
you
you.
understand that explanation.
All right. Thank you. Congratulations to everyone. So we have time for one last question before we have the closing for the program. One last question. Yes, you have a question?
Hello to all of you again. Congratulations. My name is Joshua. This is my name sign. I'm a student of CSB batch 119. And my question is directed to Ben about graphic design. So let, for example, you learn, you know, about graphic design, you learn about Photoshop, you learn about photography, you learn about everything, everything about creatives in CSB. So what are the expectations? Like what are you expected to do once you start working for a company in the real world, like animation, for example? Are you provided trainings on that or what?
All right. So in the past, when I graduated, I thought that learning was done because I'm already done studying. But that's just one perspective. When you enter the workforce, when I entered the workforce, I realized that I am just starting to learn, and there are a lot of trainings that I need to attend, and I still don't know exactly what it is to do. For example, in terms of video production or how to use YouTube, so I had to watch many videos to teach myself things that I didn't learn in school. So I had to learn independently, and I had to learn a lot so that I can apply those with my work. So I just kept on trying until I'm satisfied. No, I finally now I know what I'm doing, because it's such a waste of time to just wait for opportunities to come to you. You have to teach yourself so that you can be ahead in the game. So it's better to start as soon as possible rather than to wait to begin your learning journey.
Right. Do you need to learn it like really fast or slowly, like step by step?
So just like what I said, honestly, it depends on your supervisor would usually let fill you in about the things that you don't know. So I guess it's better to start learning on your own rather than depending on your supervisor. So you might not be good at animation yet, but it depends on also what the companies are looking for, what kind of skills they're looking for. So it's not all the same. The expectations for employees are not all the same.
Right.
So Isabel, is there anything you'd like to add? No, I don't have anything to add to that. So again, Jam Signing, thank you so much to our three panelists. Thank you for contributing everything, your skills, your experiences, your successes, and for becoming a role model to those who are with us right now. So one last short message from everyone. Can you each share a message, a special message for the deaf who would like to be just as successful as you are? Anything that you'd like to leave with them so that they can start their journey now. So we can have Inigo and then Isabel and then Ben. All right,
Right.
Inigo first.
Well, it could be having a business is really a lot of hard work. You need to learn a lot of things as franchisee. When setting up your own business, you need to be creative. I think that's something that you have to do, whether you're dealing with a small business or a big business. What is important is that you save up. You save up for your investment because there are a lot of expenses. Okay, so saving up, saving in banks, start early, start young, saving up so that in the future you'll be able to have your own business using the savings that you have. So investment is very, very important. Okay. I mean, my parents during Christmas time when they give me money as gifts, I save them up. I don't spend them. So I spend them. I save them so that in the future I know I'll be because in the I have plans for my future in setting up my own business. So investment very, very important. I
That's
think that's something
great.
I want to.
That's right. Thank you, Inigo. That's a good idea. Next, let's have Isabel. All right. Let me think about what I want to say. Yes. So for the students, and for everybody watching, for members of the deaf community, I think right now it's important to learn. Um, and instead of worrying about the future, let's focus on the present. Okay, study whatever it is that you can study now. Get all the help that you can. Think positive. Dream big. So try not to have limitations when it comes to your dreams. Just work on your goals right now and just push through with it. So it's very important that we have the heart to teach young deaf. So in a world where there are deaf and hearing people, it's important that we work with the hearing also, and we do what's right together. Okay, so that's how we can have a good relationship with each other, and we can develop. So nothing will happen if we do not work together. We won't progress. So I think the faster way to succeed and to develop is to work, to do more work. So some doctors can become deaf too, right? But we see some doctors become deaf in other places, but it's quite frustrating that does not happening here in the Philippines. Teachers are very few, deaf teachers are very few. So I think it's very important that you focus on your studies and that you study hard. So whatever difficulties you may be experiencing, family problems, financial concerns, just work on whatever time you have and don't worry so much about the difficulties. Just push through with it and do what you can. Do your best. That's my message.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you,
great.
Isabel. How about Ben? Final message? Well,
Okay.
my final message for everyone is that, you know, again, don't waste your time. Don't waste opportunities. Don't give up, which means that, right now, leave your time now. Take advantage of your opportunities. Take advantage of your time right now. No, don't give up. It's not always about fun. It's not always about what's easy. But working hard, I think achieving things, working hard for all your goals would definitely be sweeter because you put a lot of effort into it. All your negative thoughts, set them
Yes.
aside. You learn as much as you could. Learn from YouTube. You learn from the internet. There are a lot of free resources about out there. You don't have to pay for them. For expensive, courses, you could get anything for free. Learn about processes. Learn about everything. You could learn everything from YouTube. Don't give up again. It might be tiring at times, but just carry on. Again, just because you succeeded in one thing doesn't mean that you finish. That's it. It's a continuous process. You need to continue to learn, continue learning from your mistakes, um, improve, make changes, to adjustments. Even little successes. There will be uphill climbs from time to time, but what's important is that these are all
Right.
natural processes. Can opportunities, take advantage of them,
That's right.
learn, and don't give up. You're still too
Yes.
young.
Applause. Hooray. Thank you, Ben. Wonderful answer, three of you.
All
So
right. So for the three of you, I think what I learned from here is that learning from your mistakes. I do agree with that. Now, for our participants, if you could please sign our attendance sheet. And then for our panelists, we'll be having we do our picture taking to ask the rest of the participants to please carry on with the registration. So let's do our picture taking. So let's have your brightest smiles.
we're all right. Okay, so technical team, kindly take our picture. Okay. Ready? One, two. Wait, hold on 1 second. Who am I taking a picture of? It's a group picture. Yes, before we give out the certificates, let's have our picture first. Okay, one, two, three. Smile. Again, one. All right. Another one. Okay.
Okay. So before that, for our participants, so we'll be giving the certificate. So before we proceed to the next part, so let's have another photo only with our panelists. So with your signings. So please show your signings for this photo. And that includes the two of us, the hosts. Inigo, you have to do your signing. There you go. All right,
Okay.
thank you. Thank you so much.
So now let's have our certificate. Hold on one
Our,
second. Let's have the um are the participants done registering to the attendance? I think they're done, yes. So now we can present the certificate. Okay, let's share the certificates. So we are pleased to present the certificate of our appreciation as a sign of gratitude to our speakers, um, for passion chasers overcoming career challenges. Okay, maybe we could have a photo with the certificate also. Congratulations, Hannah signing. Congratulations, Indigo, and thank you. All right. Thank you, Indigo. You did a great job. Okay, applause from the audience. Okay, can we move on to the next certificate? Certificate for Isabel. Let's have a picture for this particular certificate first. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Hannah, ready? Hannah.
thank you, Isabel, and congratulations. That was really an inspiring. You are an inspirational teacher. So thank you so much.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you also, Isabel signing. Thank you. Okay. Okay, that's done. Let's proceed to the next certificate. Ben, please open your camera and have your picture taken with your certificate. All right, let's put the spotlight on Ben. That's good. Congratulations, Ben.
Thank you, Hannah.
I've worked with you in the same office. You're my office mate for a long time, but now you're on your own. So good job. You're doing a good job. I pass on the legacy to you now. So I hope that you can be promoted soon in the future, because I already left the office, so you can now be promoted. No, just kidding. Congratulations. Here's your certificate, Ben.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Ben. Bye.
So do we need a photo again with the three of them?
So can we ask Inigo, Isabel, and Ben and Hannah to turn on their cameras? All right. Okay, so let's have a group photo. So Inigo. Okay. So again, thank you everybody. Let's have a group photo now. Ready, everyone? 1, 2, 3. All right. Okay. Okay, again, thank you so much. Okay, you're welcome. Not signing spotlight on me, please.
Right. Hello. Thank you again. That was really awe-inspiring. Thank you so much. And we had a lot of learning from our panel discussion. Later on, we'll have again 2 more panelists, but for now, we'll take a short break. So let's have about a 10-minute break. So please come back at 11 o'clock, and then we'll proceed with the next part. So you could go to the restroom, do your bio breaks, or probably take a short leave. So let's come back at 11 o'clock. Thank you. So we have a timer. So let's have our timer up from our tech team. So again, for those who have
Good night.
Okay, so I hope everyone. 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 Okay, so I. I hope everyone had a wonderful break, even if it's just short. So next, for this particular next in this program, so we have our leader advocates. So that means who work in our community. We have leaders who work in our community who are volunteers, and those who are in the provinces. So instead of having them here live, we have a video of them. So let's show the video, please. So hello everyone, my name is Arlen Australia, and I'm based here in Legazpi, Albay, in the Bicol region, in Region 5. I teach Filipino Sign Language to hearing students. So while working as an FSL coordinator for my organization, the Bicol Deaf Society, my message for current students is to learn as much as you could while you're in school. It's important for you to participate in different activities, get involved in sports, because it's through these activities that you get to learn a lot. For those who already graduated and moved back to your own provinces, I hope that you could be responsible in becoming role models for other deaf people, for the younger deaf people. It is important for deaf communities to continuously improve on themselves, to develop, and continue the legacy that we, the adult deaf members of the community, could pass on to the younger deaf communities. I believe that all of you has that capacity to lead the deaf community towards a better future. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much to Arlen for that short but inspiring message. So later on, we'll have Arlen here for our live discussion. So our next presenter is a SDEAS alumni who graduated, who is also an SDEAS alumni, who has served as volunteer, and his name is Sir Mark Marshall. So is Mark here? Hello, Mark. How are you today? Okay, so try not to sign simultaneously. I could only see one person at a time. So you might want to address the audience now, Mark. So are you ready to do your presentation? So now let's perhaps you could start by saying a little bit about your background. And let's have the PowerPoint of Mr. Marshall. Okay, sorry about that. We're just having a little bit of technical difficulties. So all right, thank you again for inviting me here. I remember being the chairperson of a previous deaf festival. Like I believe it was 17th, and now we're on the 27th Deaf Festival. So, yeah, for this particular part of the program, called to lead, learn, engage, advocate in the deaf community. So again, my name is Mark Kelvin Marshall. I'm the youngest among our siblings, so I have several brothers and sisters. I belong to a deaf family with one sister who is hearing. And right now, I work for two nonprofit organizations for FDCP for 5 years and PFD for 2 years. I graduated in 2012 um, with a degree in Deaf Studies, Applied Deaf Studies, with majoring in computer graphics, art, and technology. So I belong to batch 108. As for my key achievements, I belong to the 10 accomplished youth organizations, and this was a huge challenge. I mean, this is a nationwide competition participated in by 83 organizations all over the Philippines. Most of them are hearing, and we're the only deaf organization who participated. And we were awarded uh, one of the 10 accomplished youth organizations of 2020. So because of the activities and the projects that we are doing under our organizations. Now, this is my organization, the Federation of the Deaf, Cavite Province Incorporated, and I am the president. So, yeah. So ever since the pandemic started, we have seen, like, we don't know what's going on, right? Because we don't have access to news. And so what we started doing sort of information dissemination about COVID-19 and about the pandemic. So we work with some um, organizations. We work with one hearing organizations, IM, and they saw the potential of having us as their partner. And so we are now paying back to the rest of the community what IM
Wow.
has provided us. And so we again work with different organizations, with different companies as well. So we receive a lot of support from them, which in turn we did distributed to the rest of our um, deaf communities here in the Cavite province. Now, in terms of my skills, I have experience in volunteering, um, making sure I work within the team, um, interacting and socializing and making friends with many people. And I remember one of the photos there. That was the time when we were working closely together as a team,
Wow.
and so I really appreciate, um, you know, I really
Yes,
appreciate the time that we
that's
spend
right.
together.
Thank you. Thank you for your sharing. It's amazing. So now we have some questions about your experiences as a leader. How did you succeed in helping the deaf community? So the first question is, so you mentioned that you started working for the deaf community, and you had a deaf organization in your own community. You were part of PFDYS. Um, so you've shared a lot of influences in Bulacan. So you really seem to love helping and serving the community. How did that come to be?
Yep. Before when I started, I think I was just a small boy. Um, my father was also part of the community called KAT, the Kawit Association of the Deaf. And I saw my father, getting involved in that community. I don't have any idea yet of the concept of an organization. It's just like sort of, like an assembly. Like, okay, so they meet from time to time, and I was curious what they are doing. Um, and then, when I started going to school, it was Miss Febe Sevilla who really inspired me to uh, to start volunteering. I think it was Dr. Jose Rizal's words na hindi magmahal sa sariling bansa ay mahigit pa sa mabahong isda. So I think that prompted me to start volunteering and working in some organization. So I promised myself that after graduating from school, I would become a leader in the community and really um, Ms. Febe Sevilla like
Yes.
encouraged me. Like she said, nothing is really impossible, and we'd like to see you become leader. So years later, I moved to Baguio for a time, and I thought, having not found work here in Manila, I was with Sir George Tag in December, and so I was not yet involved in organization in any organization yet. But that was my first exposure. Getting involved in the Baguio Deaf organization there, and so I thought, they have a good organization here in Baguio. Why not establish one at home?
Meng signing, excuse me. Can you spell out the name of the people you were signing so that
Yeah, sorry, this is Ember, Miss Ember Parpa, and this one is George Lintag. So the two of them were actually instrumental in, you know, helping me create and deciding to put up my own organization, to put all my energy into having an organization here in in Cavite. So I moved back home. I think yeah, before that was the time when this one person passed away. So I did not know what to do. So I asked the help of Mr. Romel Aguirre, who was then the president of Cavite Association of the Deaf. Said no, unfortunately the CAD already closed down, and that was really sad. So what I did was I could not let that happen. So I need to have an organization within Cavite. So we came together, deaf people from Cavite area. So it's not for the purpose of putting myself out there and taking credits all to myself. No, it's not about pride. We started with just 6 members. I mean, that's very very few, and we were surprised later on that our organization has grown. Right now we have in FECP, we I mean, in order to preserve the history of the previous organizations, we decided to make it into the organization that we are today, FECP.
Wow, truly amazing. It's amazing how you journeyed as a leader. So another question: you establish your own organization and you're president, and we are able to see your many amazing works, how you support students, how you support deaf people in need, how you connect with different communities and organizations. You've improved quite a lot as a deaf community. You also provide seminars and trainings, and it's quite exciting looking at the work that you do. There are many barriers, but you're able to deal with all of them. Um, I'm wondering how you started processing and how you started establishing your network in Cavite.
Right. At first, of course, we have a board within our organization. So we had TikTok. Remember the time when they were bullying interpreters
Yes,
from TikTok? And so we started working that way. We supported our interpreters because we valued
that's
them.
right.
So we defended our interpreters. I mean, we might have differing opinions within the board. So we discuss politics, political issues. What are the needs of the community? And then later on, like we had, the challenge of the pandemic, COVID, and so we decided to, have shift our focus not on the TikTok issue, but on helping the community. So of course, at first we had difficulty in terms
Yes.
of language access. So like how do we address those issues? What we tried to send we tried to send call for sponsorship, like call for support. Again, because of the language barriers and also the delay in the response that we got. However, the whole process has been very rewarding. I mean, we were worried
Right.
at first for the deaf people who are, experiencing hunger because of the pandemic. So we had to be really patient, but we did not give up. We had, a lot of the deaf communities here um, texting us, messaging us for help. So we thought of, you know, uh, because of the messages that we have been receiving, I mean, we contributed as much as we could, even if
Wow,
it's,
that's right.
just a little bit. And then later on, we started looking for different sponsors. And so I think we were able to succeed in doing that. We were able to find uh, a lot of help, a lot of support. And, we
Amazing.
work as a family within the organization.
Thank you for the work that you do for the community and for standing up for the community. So, you've been doing a lot of work, coordinating with different people, doing emails, connecting, etc. What are some challenges and struggles that you're experiencing as a volunteer, as a servant leader, um, who is deaf and who has his own family, is a member of a community? What are some of the challenges that you've faced so far in doing your work as an organization leader?
Right. but it has been very challenging, especially I like sometimes I tend to forget about myself. I think too much about the community, about the people around me, that I forget about my own myself. So here in Cavite, we try to raise and elevate the status of the people around us. Again, it's not for the praise. It's not for them. It's because it's not because of the organization, but it's because of the community. It's been very difficult. I mean, sometimes I don't understand. Like, the power given me, sometimes I don't understand God's ways, but still, we see deaf people being satisfied, even though, no matter how little we give, I think they still appreciate that. So, whether we continue with the organization or not, if we succeed or not, I think what is important is that we work together as a team, and that makes me really happy.
Perseverance is
So,
important.
yeah, but sometimes, yeah, I tend to forget about myself in the process.
So a while ago you mentioned about how you feel when you are working within the community. You must feel happy or satisfied, maybe, or maybe there are certain challenges. What do you feel?
Right? I feel very happy. I don't have any worries right now. I'm seeing 100% smiles from all the people around me. So, like, I don't have any worries at this point. I'm trying to push for for services. I really want to have, you know, to share my expertise, to share my talents, my time, and probably, soon I'll be moving with my family in the US. So
That's sad.
we have to make sure that there's sustainability in the organization. So whoever will take lead of our
That's right.
organization now, we should start training them. So as possible before I leave for the US, then I have to train and push for the
Yes.
community to take lead.
Amazing. So how about you, men? Do you have questions? Let's probably ask our audience if they have anything to add. Thank you again, Mark, for your sharing. It's amazing how you succeeded as a leader. So to our audiences, to those who are watching, if there's anything else that you'd like to ask our guest speaker regarding uh, how he is as a leader, how he became successful, and how he is managing his work in Cavite, if you have any questions for him, feel free to open your video cameras and ask away. Okay. So again, press the raise hand button first and then open your video camera so you can ask your questions. Any questions? Just press the raise hand button. Okay, I think we do have a question. Who is it? You are welcome to open your video camera. Okay, so the question is from Isabel. Like, hi.
Hi, ma'am. Hi, ma'am Isabel.
Oh, yes. Sir, hello. So you are quite a commendable leader and you've been working as a leader for a long time and you've had a lot of successes already. We know that. So you've been doing that for a long time now. How I know that it's a struggle to help a certain organization develop and succeed. And how do you deal with that struggle?
Well, one of the tips that I could probably give you in, re-establishing your organization is to have your board members. It's just like a house, right? So inside the house, you need to have people working under the roof. So that's important. That's very
So you
important.
are committed, or do you enforce that?
Yeah, you don't force anyone to become volunteers. Again, you're not paying them salary, right? But commitment, your heart is very important. So without the heart, without the commitment, then probably later on that would pose some challenges.
So okay. I see that you have eager people working with you, and they look quite committed. Maybe that's a good thing. Thank you for answering my question. Hey,
Thank you,
thank you for
Isabel.
question. So now we're waiting for other people who would like to ask their questions. Just press the raise hand button. But I do have a question. A while ago regarding Isabel's question about establishing your organization. In terms of your perspectives inside the organization, you're the president, you have board members, you have staff, you have volunteers. Um, how do you delegate the work? Do you require people to do particular service work? Is that important?
Like we don't really require, we don't demand. Again, it's about the heart. It's about attitude. It's about skills. It's about you know be- like knowing everything. No, it's not. It's not even about that. What is important is that you treat everyone equally. You come together, regardless of age, regardless of you know your opinion, regardless of your level of understanding or your knowledge or if you're smart. What is important here is that you come together as a diverse group of people, um, and perhaps the curiosity to help the community, to look into the situations of the communities that you are serving. I think there should be no biases, no judgments when you come together within the organization. I think what makes an organization is the heart and it's the commitment.
Yes, that's right. Wow, truly amazing and truly commendable. What's important is the heart of a leader and the heart of a volunteer, the commitment to serve in the deaf community. That is what we need right now. That's right. I agree. So thank you for answering. Do we have any other questions? Hey, you can ask your questions. Just press your raise hand button. Hey, anyone? Is there anything else you'd like to add? So, Mark signing, if the person in your deaf organization see, if people see that the deaf organization is successful, it's easier for them to accept and to believe in what you stand for. So you have to, as an organization, you have to prove to the people what you can do so that they will be encouraged to join your organization. You have to show proof first, okay, to act and to establish yourself as an organization. That is right, men signing. Yes, that's correct. I agree. That's true. So it's important that a group has committed volunteers working very hard, and so that people can find them worth emulating. And they have to continue working hard regardless of the difficulties that they encounter. They have to be committed to the cause. You said you've been working with your organization for 5 years now. Yes, 5 years. And you are still the president, you're managing everyone, you're helping everyone, you're continuing to serve. Do you have any plans of passing on the position, your legacy to anyone? Right now, I think it's the right time to pass on the role of president. I know, but I'm still thinking about it. I'm also consulting with my family. I don't know my plans yet regarding my personal life. I'm not sure about that yet. So I think I can still continue being president for around 2 terms as far as I can. Wow, that's amazing. Okay. Um, so I can maybe you have some people have some feedback, some uh, things to say regarding your leadership as president. Maybe you read that on social media or whatnot. How does it work in the province? How's your process of helping people in the province? How do you take feedback? And so there's a feedback from Mara. That's true. It's important that we show action, that we show proof of our hard work, that we're not just all talk. Rather than words, we should do actions. We should show in our actions that we're capable as an organization, even if we're just a small organization, nothing is impossible. We should carry on with the work that we do. Okay, thank you for your feedback.
I think we lost Mark. probably connection problem.
Okay. FYI, Mark emphasized a lot of things and shared with you a lot of tips on how to be successful as a leader of a deaf organization. How do you establish a deaf organization? And I think it's something worth emulating, especially for younger deaf. It's something that we should pass on to each other. Commitment, eagerness to work together. Right now, you might be considering service as a vocation. And I think commitment and heart to serve, and of course, time and the right opportunity are all very important. It's very important to grab that opportunity to serve rather than to wait, to start leading as soon as you can. Um, it's good that we're able to provide these younger deaf role models worth emulating. So regardless of the difficulties that they've encountered, we've seen how they strive to push through, and they're continuing to fight on. Uh, so Meng, what do you think? You're right. That's right. So we're
Yes,
happy.
that's right. We could help probably patients. I know it's not easy working in an organization, especially a huge organization, but taking the lead, being a role model to everyone is very important. So I think Mark is back now.
Yes, that's good. Okay. Hi, Mark. Uh, Sorry, I had issues with my laptop. Okay.
Okay.
So Mark, is there anything else you'd like to say?
Yep, I understand what you shared a while ago, and I agree. Heart and commitment are very important to help. Thank you so much for your sharing. So right now we'll be taking a photo of the three of us. Jam.
Hold
Okay,
on.
so Jam, can you see me? Okay, so not with the participants, but only the three of us together with Mark. So we'll take a photo, and then let's all smile for the photo.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. Smile. All right, photo
So
done.
next, let's do another photo with your signings.
Okay, photo done.
So next for the certificate.
Okay, let's present the certificate. So Hannah will be presenting the certificate.
Okay, so the certificate of appreciation is given to Mark Kelty Marshall for serving as one of the panel speakers uh, for this one, called to lead, learn, engage, and advocate and deliver.
All right, thank you, Mark, for inspiring us with your wonderful presentation on how to become a strong leader. Thank you for sharing. All right, and congratulations.
Thank you so
Warm round of
much.
applause for you. Here's your certificate. Hooray! Okay, are you ready for the photo? Let's have our photo. Okay, 1, 2, 3, ready, photo. 1, with the certificate. Yes. Ready and smile. Okay, photo is done. Let's proceed. All right. So at this point, we will, now that we're done presenting the certificate, we are about to wrap up this segment on leadership. But um, we'd like to continue teaching younger deaf regarding how to succeed as leaders. So thank you for your sharing. Thank you for. Can you wrap up Okay, key points, your insights as a servant leader. What's the message, the key message that you would like to share with the deaf youth right now?
Well, first, I'd like to encourage all of you who are young or to get involved in deaf organizations, whether they are hearing organizations. Once you become successful, I think you get the experience of that, you get the hang of it. Another thing is that to continue, be progressive. I know, nothing is perfect, but regardless of the failures or the successes, there might be little successes, but still appreciate those little things. Don't give up.
Yes.
Don't give up. Organizations, don't worry about that. You're not graded with your involvement in your organizations, but I encourage you um, to to recognize the contribution that you make for organizations, recognize the people you are working with,
Right.
and also as Benildeans, just like your experience in Benil, you interact and then you grow. Uh, and now that you're in the real world, you need you need to recognize what are the needs of the community. Okay. I mean, no organization is perfect, but just carry on.
Wow. Thank you for your sharing. And thank you for giving your final message. You gave us a wonderful contribution. And congratulations, Mark, for becoming a good leader and role model for SDS alumni and graduates. We commend you and we've learned so much from you. We hope that in the future you will continue establishing and developing your organization. You can continue proving your capability as a leader. Thank you for coming and thank you for sharing your story as a leader. Thank you for your tips. So now we would like to turn you over again to our host, okay, for the next part. Nah,
All right. Hello, everyone. I hope you are satisfied. So wish we could have more of it, but we'll definitely do that in the future. So first, I'd like to thank our leaders and also those who are our career professionals. And we hope that you keep the lessons, whatever goals you have, that you don't give up with whatever you do. Really, this has been very inspiring. Taking on different topics about leadership, about advocacy. But before we end this, we'd like to take a photo with all of you, with all of the participants. I hope all of you has already registered and signed attendance sheet. So for those who did sign the attendance sheet, you may turn on your cameras for the photo, or if you don't want to be included in the photo, um, so you could just turn off your camera. So let's have Bronson to take our photos now.
all right. Okay, ready, everyone?
So let's all smile for the photo.
One, one.
So first,
Okay,
let's all smile for first photos. Let's smile.
smile first. All right, one. Okay, page one is good.
Next, let's have a second photo with your signings.
Yes, all right. Taking a photo of page one.
Great.
Next.
Last one, let's do a wacky shot.
All right.
Perfect. So let's have another one, Bronson.
Okay, good.
All right. So we're good, and we're done with the photos.
Yay!
So
Hooray!
just to inform everyone. So we're all good, right? Just to inform everyone, just a short announcement. Please don't forget that in the afternoon and in the evening, we still have some activities today. So yes, you need to pay for the tickets. And secondly, please don't forget to support the Deaf Festival. So please support them, the activities that we have lined up. Again, thank you all for coming for this special activities. Our SDEAS representatives, our teams, our tech, our hosts. Thank you so much.
A round of applause for all of them. Hooray!
And also to the interpreters. Thank you. Thank you to Dean Giselle for coming. Thank you to all the participants, our speakers, our panelists. Thank you so much. And thank you also to our international guests. Thank you and a round of applause.
Yes, that's correct. Let's give them a round of applause.
Thank you also to our speakers, to Inigo, to everyone. Thank you so much. All right. So that's it. I think we're wrapping up and we're done. Thank you, everyone.
Yay! Thank you, everyone. Greetings to everyone. Wow, that's amazing.
Thank you.